Hey everybody, what's going on? Today we are playing Spirits of the Wild by Mattel. Hey Sarah, doesn't Mattel make some other games that we
Mattel does make some other games. They are known to be like more classic games than like hobby games. But Spirits of the Wild is a shockingly good two-player game. A friend of mine actually bought me a copy of this because it was on clearance. She got it for like $6 or $7 and she gave it to me and I was kind of like, oh, thanks, like a Mattel game, you shouldn't have. But we tried it and it's fantastic. It's actually one of probably my favorite two-player only games ever. Would you like me to tell you about it?
Sure.
All right, so in Spirits of the Wild, you are attempting to get the most points, and you're gonna do that by putting colored stones, onto these spaces on your board. In each section of the board, you need to place different kinds of stones in order to score different types of points. So for example, the owl, which is the top section here in this part right here, they're looking to have the same colored stones in pairs, and you can hold up to 3 pairs here. So in the dish right now, there are 2 green, a yellow, and a purple. Well, if I can get a hold of these 2 green, I could put them in the owls section. And if that was the only thing I had in the owl section at the end of the game, I'd get 3 points because I have 1 pair in that section. There's other creatures and they score differently. Everything from like just 3 different stones to like full house type thing to different color spreads to all the same color. And each one of these has a space for the stones of that particular scoring parameter, but it also has on the opposite side a single space over here. In the game, there are colored stones, but there's also these clear stones right here. And you can put the clear stones in the single space in an animal section of the board to double the score that you would achieve from whatever you have over here. But as soon as you do that, you can no longer place any stones on this side of the thing. So if I can get quite a bit of points over here and then I can lock it in with one of these, then I double my score for that section of the board. So the game is really simple. It's driven by cards. Every player has a set of cards, and each player on their turn chooses to use one of these cards. So I could, for example, if all of my cards were refreshed, I could take a stone, just take one from here and put it anywhere on my board. I could take a stone. I could take 2 stones. I could add 2 stones from the bag to the dish and take one of the stones in the dish. I could add 3 stones and move the coyote. So I wouldn't get to actually put anything on my board. I'd only add 3 stones to the dish, but then I could move this coyote. And when the coyote is placed onto an animal on your board, you can no longer put anything in that section. So if I play this one here, I'd add 3 stones to the dish, and then I could either move the coyote off of one of my own animals if it were there, and I could put it onto one of my opponents and lock them out of that particular area. So if I can see, oh, well, there's some things here in the dish that they might want to put on their beaver, and I'm able to use this card here, well, then I could just put the coyote on the beaver, and now that player cannot put anything on the beaver. So, on your turn, you choose one of your face-up available cards to play. You play it, you carry out its action, that's your turn. There are a couple things going on the cards that we haven't talked about yet. One is that on the back of each of your take 1 stone cards, you have the half of the coyote. If I turn over one of these in the game, nothing happens. I just take 1 stone. And then maybe I turn over this one on a future turn, and then I turn over this one. Now I've completed the coyote. That's another way for me to move the coyote, as well as playing the card that lets you move the coyote. Now, once I have at least 3 cards turned face down, instead of using one of these cards on my turn, what I can do is use this one here, which says that I can use the spirit power and recover all of my cards. So that's gonna let me turn up all of the cards I've turned face down so they can be used again. And it's also gonna let me choose one of these 2 spirit cards right here to to get to do something special. And this is either going to let me move some stones around or take extra stones or all different kinds of things. There are 6 of these cards, and there will always be 2 available. So if I sort of rest to get all my cards back, I also get to use the ability of one of the spirit cards. And that's pretty much everything. It goes back and forth between 2 players, each player taking a turn, until there are 5 of these clear stones across any visible part of the board. So if Nick has 2 on his board and I have 1 on mine, and there are 2 in the dish, at the end of that turn, the game is going to end. And with that sort of variable game length, it can really create some interesting things, because who knows exactly how long the game is going to last. So you don't want to diversify your strategies too much, because you might not be able to pull them off with good enough returns by the end of the game. Or maybe you want to do something to, there are cards that let you, some of the spirit cards let you put stones back into the bag. So maybe if there's like one of these out there and like you don't want your opponent to get it, or it's like the 3rd one and you're not quite ready for the game to be almost over yet, you can put it back in the bag, that kind of thing. But once there are 5 out there anywhere across anything showing, the game ends. We add up all of our points. Whoever has the most points wins.
Awesome. Again, this is from Mattel. We didn't have like really high expectations of it,
The quality is really good though. The card quality is nice. All of this stuff came standard. So the little coyote figure came standard. These little beads are like really nice. They're like faceted and they're good quality. This cloth bag is good quality. This dish is good quality. So I was really impressed just with the overall quality of it in general. And the gameplay is pretty darn solid for a little quick 2-player game. So I was really, really impressed.
Yeah. So we'll get back to you guys halfway through the game, and then we will get back to you guys when there is a winner and a loser. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Hello, Sarah. It's already gone pretty fast, and we're already have 3 stones out of 5 that we need to be in the game.
Now 1 is in the dish, so it might end up back in the bag.
Yeah.
But for right now, we are 3 of the 5 there. And we both have our salmon plus a multiplier. But you also have your rabbit completely filled.
I do.
And I only have 2 stones on my turtle, which is all 5 stones of the same color, and 2 stones in my beaver, which is full house. So hopefully I can score some more points before the game wraps, but I should have at least a couple more turns.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy, not yet anyways. But yeah, so let's continue on with the madness of, well, I guess not madness. We save those for Cthulhu games. Yeah, let's go with that. See y'all in a bit. Toodles. Hello, Queen of the Spirits of the Wild. And what did I do that was so infuriating?
So yeah, Nick was like, I'm gonna end the game, and he was doing everything he could to end the game, but I had more points than he did, so he ended the game and then I won.
Yep, I am the jester of the spirit of the wild stars and constellations. And you are the queen. Kicking my butt. But, yeah, you know, it's surprising. Mattel, pretty good game. I think
it is a good game.
you said, I think you mentioned that they have a giant game at one of the bigger shows.
Yeah, at Gen Con, I think it was Gen Con, sometime in the last few years. I don't even remember what game it was, but their entire booth, they had like converted it to be like this sort of like a I don't know, like a village kind of thing, and they had every station in the entire booth was a table where players could see how their latest game worked. But all of it was like these incredible like 3D like worlds that they had built, and they had like just amazing props, and it looked really, really eye-catching. Very, very cool. It was a really popular booth, and I almost always when I'm at a show, I am working. at the show, and that means I have very little downtime to kind of see things like that. So I could not wait to get in and actually like find out what the game was about, or like get a demo or anything like that. I just didn't have time, unfortunately. But their presentation of it was like phenomenal, very, very eye-catching, and really, really neat looking. So sometimes they do cool stuff like that. Other times they put out, sort of like, department store games, I guess. But sometimes they knock it out of the park with a game like this or a display like that. And I'm really, really happy to have this one in the collection. I really, really like this game.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And again, all the components and pieces and the flow of everything is very very fluid and very nice. And it's a nice small game that gives you the satisfaction of playing a good game while not taking up the rest of your night.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. It's pretty easy. You just go back and forth, playing one of your cards and taking stones or using, powers to do things. It's pretty simple. And box time is 30 minutes. That's probably a little on the long end.
But if you know what you're doing and you play games regularly, then you can just kind of zip through the game.
Yeah, and it's a nice, pleasant one. There's just enough competition to keep it interesting, but it's not so cutthroat most of the time.
That kind of feels like take that.
Yeah, you don't want to like murder each other when you're done. Yeah, it's nice. I really like it.
Awesome. Well, that was Spirits of the Wild by Mattel, and we hope you all enjoyed this board game vlog, and we will see you next time. Bye!